Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Proverbial Masterminds. I'm
Hi,
Erin, and
friends.
this is Sherry.
Hi. Good to see you again.
Hello.
Welcome back. We're in chapter 6 this week.
We are. And
Yeah.
we're talking about ants.
Woo! We are going to talk about ants. Yes, Erin. What translation you got over there?
So I have multiple. Where would you like me to read from?
I would like you to read from 6:6 to 6:11.
Okay, so I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna do this from the English Standard Version. I do like the Passion Translation, but I'm gonna do it from this today.
Okay.
Go to the ant, O sluggard, consider her ways and be wise. Without having any chief, officer, or ruler, she prepares her bread in the summer and she gathers her food in harvest. How long will you lie there, O sluggard? When will you arise from your sleep? A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come upon you like a robber, and want like an armed man.
That's some serious truth right there. That's like
Yes.
you if you go to see like, a fortune teller, that you don't need to because that's the
Right.
fortune right
That's
there,
it. That's
right?
it.
And I love that. One translation says look to the ant.
Mhm.
But also go to the ant. Like go to the ant, study the ant and learn what they do. And I like start off cuz I
Go
have
for it.
I have a kind of really cool revelation to share. So, I'm like, "Okay, God, you want me to go to the ant? I'm going to go to the ant. I'm not a sluggard.
Right.
However, I do have sluggardly tendencies
Mm.
sometimes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like I don't want to work. Can't I just live life and have fun and not work and not have to worry about money or whatever, and yeah, I can do all of that and look to the ant. So here's what happened. I went onto Amazon Prime and I Googled ant documentaries. Actually, no, I did it on my phone. I Googled ant documentaries, right? And then I was like, oh, I saw this one and it was about the fire ant. Okay. So, if you know fire ants, they bite
Ooh.
you, right?
Right. Right.
And they sting you and all of
Yeah.
that. And they're a plague. They're a problem
Right.
because they destroy crops. They get their way into electrical systems
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and they chew on the wiring and then, they die. But so does the electrical system that they were
Right.
attacking, right?
Right.
And so anyway, I watched this documentary on Prime called Fire Ants, and then it had its like Latin name, genus and
The genus
species.
species.
Yeah, right. So, anyway, here's one of the coolest things. So, number one, these ants are busy
Mm.
all the time. Yeah,
Mhm.
they rest, but they're busy all the time. And they do what they're great at. Like within an ant colony, there are ants who are foragers. They're the ones who go out and get the food. There are ants who are like nurses that nurse the queen and the queen's brood, right? Because it's all about the queen. But the
Mhm.
queen doesn't give them orders. They are just there to sort of protect and worship the queen, right?
Mhm.
And then there are, hold on, sanitation. They have to clean, right? They have to clean each other. They have to clean their environment. Excavation for building the
Mm.
colonies, okay?
Mm.
And defense. So here was something really cool, and I'm going to share some fun facts probably throughout this. But um, what was really neat is that all of these ants operated in their designed gifting.
Mm.
In their designed gifting, and collectively, then they are a force that nobody can seem to reckon with.
That's right.
So, in fact, back in the 70s, in the mid 70s, there were these campaigns, like political campaigns to get rid of the fire ants. Who knew? Yeah. Right.
Seriously. And
don't
we
know.
think this is crazy time. We're trying to get
And-
rid of fire ants.
Right. And so they dropped these bombs and they dropped these things to poison everything, but it didn't kill the fire ant. But what it did is it killed all of the competition of the fire ant. So
Mm.
then the fire ant's presence grew greater. So anyway, the fire ant is unstoppable. And here's the beauty of the wisdom, like with this. Like when I was reading it, I was like, yeah, okay, ants are busy. But it's more than that. It's more than occupying your time. It's operating in your gifting.
Yes.
And when you operate in your gifting, you operate as you were designed to operate.
Yes.
That is when we can have an optimal life. That's when we can flourish individually and collectively. So here, let me just share this visual for you. So one of the things that the fire ants do is they prepare, and I'm like, now I want to go be an entomologist or something. I don't know, which I'm not going to. Like, there's too many, irons in
It's
the fire.
creepy crawly stuff.
Yeah. So, so what they do when there is a flood coming, they form what looks like a magnetic ball of fibers. Have you seen like the magnet spider legs that are all kind of connected and
Yeah.
move them and pull them?
Yes.
The whole stays together, right? So what they do is they connect like that, and each ant connects to, on average, 8 other ants. And they are connected. So they're like almost like glued, they're holding on to each other.
Yeah.
Now, an ant is able to support 5,700 times its body weight, 5,700 times. So it's very, very strong, right? But so I'm going to just keep that in mind. So the floodwaters come, and now on top of the water is this ball of ants, and it's like it becomes a raft. So the ants are on the bottom, the ants are on the top, and they're constantly moving and staying connected, and somehow it floats. Okay. Then they pulled this thing into the laboratory. This was amazing. And I promise this is about wisdom, right?
I love this.
Big picture. So they pull this into the laboratory and they hold it like this, and they kind of stretch it, but they don't pull each other apart. Now, here's the really cool thing. The ants know not to destroy each other. They know how strong they are. So if the raft is being pulled apart too forcefully, they will let go of the other ants so as not to rip off the limbs of the ants that they are attached to. And then it morphs into like a liquid where it can fall from a very long height. It's like a stream of ants. And they basically together, they form this liquid. Anyway, here's the point. They could not do any of that, nor could they survive, much less thrive, right? If they were not each going diligently about their gifting, through their design.
Right.
Okay. Now let's just take that and apply it to us and our physical bodies. Our physical bodies are not designed to function optimally on drugs, booze, whatever, anything that impede lack of sleep,
right?
Right, lack of food, or all fried foods, or whatever. Like, our bodies cannot operate as they are designed to operate, and they are gloriously designed.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
If we aren't living out the design of our body. So if we're abusing our body in any way, we cannot expect to reap the benefits of a whole healthy body and mind, because those two are attached, right?
100%. Yes.
Okay, now take that bigger picture and let's just call it the group of believers. That we have a unique design. The book of Ephesians says, it basically says your purpose, the reason I created you is to do good works and glorify me and share me with people, right? Like that's the purpose.
Yeah.
But the way that we do good works is different for each of us because each of us have a
That's
unique
right.
design, a unique gifting.
Yes.
So when each of us operates in that unique gifting, see, this is not just about laziness. This is about accomplishing the vision of God,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so when every person is operating in their designed and designated gifting, then the collective whole is more powerful in achieving that which was the final command, go and make disciples.
Yes. Yes.
So, but we will never have, this is so good, and I'm going to not say it powerfully enough, and that's okay because we'll get there. But
it's okay.
If we refuse, okay, if we, one, people might say, I don't know what my design is. I don't know what my gifting is, right? Well, do what we're doing.
Right.
Seek God's wisdom. I promise you, whether it is in a dream at night while you are sleeping, if you are diligently seeking God's wisdom, what is your design? What gifting do I have? He will reveal it to you.
Yes.
And here's the other thing. I did a podcast episode on this that said basically don't miss out on your greatness by stepping on it. And so our gifting, very often we look at, celebrities and we look at people who climb Mount Everest and we look at people who do these amazing things, right? And we're like, oh, that's amazing. I could never do that. I could never get up and speak in front of thousands of people. I could never, that's amazing that they can have a best-selling, recording album or whatever. Your gifting is your gifting. And the reason that you have it is because nobody else can do it.
That's right.
Nobody else can
Yes.
do it. That's why you are here.
Right.
Because nobody else can do it. So the world really does need you. This collective
Yes.
whole, this collective raft depends on you. You are that necessary.
Yes.
So the second thing to keep in mind in your seeking of what that gifting is don't overlook the simple truth of what you're naturally drawn to. If you're naturally drawn to having conversations with friends, your gifting is being encourager, is being uplifter, is being connector, is being whatever.
Right.
Go and do that. Go
Yeah.
and do more of that because nobody can do it in the way that you can do it. That's why God
Yes.
gave it to you.
Yes.
Right. But here's the more beautiful truth that I think that elevates this. Because a lot of times we talk about finding our purpose and our greatness and blah, blah, blah. But it's not about us. This is about furthering God's kingdom. This is about furthering his vision. So we are obligated to nurture and live by design. We are obligated to live the way that he designed us to live.
100%.
And until we do that, I don't care how many books you read. I don't care how many motivational TED Talks you listen to. Until we do that, we will experience a poverty of spirit.
Yes.
Forever.
Yeah.
We will never have the abundant life that God promised us. And it's very simple. Walk in the ways that he prepared for us and designed for us to walk in to glorify him and serve others. That's it.
That's it. It's it.
And that's what the ant does.
Oh, it's so good because we get so caught in the world, right? I just was in a group that I'm in, and there's a woman in there that's trying to sort of figure out what her business will be. And she's been a 911 dispatcher for 20 years, and she's I think she's 60. And she said, what God keeps telling me is to tell my story. But like, who wants to hear my story? And I'm like, sweetheart, if God is telling you to tell his story, he's already lined the people up that need to hear your story.
They're waiting for you. They're waiting
for you. And sometimes we get so,
it's not about us.
It's so fascinating to me that like as humans, we're the most evolved species. And yet what comes with that is like this constant churning and spiraling of our minds. At no point is the ant looking around going, well, man, I wish that I were,
No.
the person that's cleaning up instead of the
No.
person that's protecting this queen. And like, why does this queen need protection anyway? At
Mhm.
no point are they going, oh, I got to look busy, because if I don't look busy, people are going to think I'm crazy, right?
Mhm.
But this is what happens in a fallen world, which is
Mhm.
obviously what we live in, and we have since Adam and Eve. And we spend so much time looking around and searching for our purpose and what does God
Yes.
want me to do, and all of this. And then, but how do I make that? How do I monetize that? How do I make money
Oh,
from that?
yeah.
Right. Listen, I'm not saying money's not important. We just had a conversation about money before we got on to this, but um like when you are walking in God's purpose and you're living that life, like that's just that like you were saying, that spiritual freedom that we have,
Yeah.
and the abundant life, meaning not monetarily,
Mhm.
but health and joy and calm and peace and all the fruits of the spirit that it talks about in Galatians. God provides.
Mhm. All the
he,
time.
he will provide.
Mhm. He and may I clarify that?
Please.
He will provide everything you need.
Yes. Yes.
And so whatever we have, being grateful for that because it acknowledges that it is all we need. It might not be all we want,
Correct.
but it
And
is
we may
all we
think we
need.
need more.
Yeah. But
I
we
was
don't.
having this conversation yesterday with my daughter. I don't know that she'll ever listen to this, but Haley, um, about work. And she left a toxic environment
Mhm.
in December. And she, on by her standards, is out of work. However, she's currently nannying for a single mom with two boys. They're 6 and 8.
Okay.
One of the boys lives with ADHD. Well, Haley grew up living with, and still battles a little bit with, ADD.
Mhm.
So guess what? While these kids are like, they're 1 week in school, 1 week out of school, she relates to him in a way,
Mhm.
and she's able to push him in a good way to get his work done, because
Mhm.
she understands how his
Yeah.
mind works.
Right.
This is a gift. Like, she
That
lives
is a
with this, so
gift.
this is a
That's
gift.
right.
And so,
And it comes naturally.
and it
She
comes
doesn't have to
naturally.
think about it.
Nope.
Right. That's what I think we mystify
Yes.
something that God has made very clear and very simple to us. Look, it's the thing that people say, you're so good at that.
Yeah.
I love
Yes.
how you do that. It's the thing that people come and ask you about. It's it is that thing that you are known for. If you were to ask 10 people, what would you say about me to
Right.
somebody else, right? What would you say to, who am I? You'll learn very quickly, and it'll hit you right between your eyes. You see, it's not that you don't know what your gifting is. It's
Yeah.
that you're overlooking it,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. It's that long ago in a sales training I was in, it was talking about the cycle of competence, and we become unconsciously competent at what our gift, in our gift, which means we just do it. So
Yes.
therefore, we're not even aware
That is exactly like the
that we're
ant.
doing it. Yes.
They're not aware that it looks like chaos to us, right? But it's very purpose driven to them. And this
Yeah.
is what I was created for. So I will live in that. And when we live in what we were designed to do and be, we have peace.
Yes.
There isn't this anxiety about, what am I going to do with my life? We just do.
Yes.
And all of
Yes.
those things, even money, those things become very, very unimportant.
Yes.
I mean, like you don't really think about them.
Right. If we can allow ourselves to be at that place, because when we start to get to that place where we're constantly like, oh, what about the money and the money and the money?
Yeah.
And
I go back and forth.
I do too.
Be clear. Yeah. I think I'm getting more fluent at recognizing that I'm about to go down that rabbit hole and riding the ship.
Yes.
But the invitation to go down that rabbit hole happens often.
Oh, always. Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. You know what the other thing that I love about this, which is so funny, and I didn't even think about it from the standpoint of there being sort of a queen ant the way there is a queen bee.
Yeah.
But in this, he says, look to the ant. Hold on. Wait, let me go back to where the other version that I was in. Go to the ant and consider her ways. So if you've been following us on the Proverbial Mastermind show, you know that as we're reviewing Proverbs is all about wisdom, and wisdom is referred to as a woman. And here it comes again, right? Like he's talking to her as the ant. Like this is no accident. Like, I mean,
No.
just the beauty of that. And the beauty of, and this is what I love about doing this with you, Sherry, is like, I like to look at the different translations, and then you like to take it out and go look further. Like, let me go see what these ants do. Like, I love that different ways that we're curious
Right.
to bring this together. And just like God designed that ant thing, all of that.
Right.
So if he could do that with the ant,
Yeah.
how much more does
Lord
he do
have
with
mercy.
us?
Yes, yes. I mean, here's the to function as we are designed, we are, all of us, even people who don't acknowledge it, are made in the image of God.
All of it. Every one.
God is holy. I mean, you could name off attributes of God. Holy, he's just, he's loving. That is all of those things, all of the things that we learn about God. That is our design. That is his design for us.
Yeah.
Which is why he gave us the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
To enable us to do those things.
Yes.
But it's when we stop seeking God's wisdom, when we start following the world. And I got to be honest, I think, there's just so many, I have nothing against personality tests and type tests. I mean, I talk about the DISC and stuff like that. I think it can be useful for conversation starters, but it's
a tool.
It's a tool, but it's not where you go for an answer. I want to be very clear. The first place you go to find out who you are, is in God's word. It's nowhere else.
Amen. Because
you can easily be led astray. And you can say, well, that sounds like God, but is it God?
That's right.
Right. Yeah. So whatever you do, if you're doing anything like, the Myers-Briggs or the DISC or the Enneagram or, Clifton Strengths Finder, all of that is, I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm saying if we elevate that to the position of authority on who we are, much like non-believers and horoscopes and right. To learn about ourselves and who we are, if we're the image of God, we're the reflection of God, we have to look at God.
That's it.
That's it. And so I wanted to share one last thing about the ant documentary. And so I totally don't watch ant documentaries, but this was really good. So
it's not a regular thing for you.
It's not a regular thing. But I will say this, that one of the interesting facts that they said, because these guys, these ants, they're busy and they actually did a thing where they poured molten wax down. Now it did kill the ants. So PETA, sorry about that, but to study them, some have to die. And then they can dig up the nest and it's complete intact. And you see how intricately woven it is.
Yeah.
The tunnels and stuff. Anyway, you see ants working. You've seen a pile of ants. Ants without the reference point of the sun, get it, will wander around aimlessly and will not do the job they were designed to do.
Right.
How cool is that?
Right.
Without the Son of God, we will wander around aimlessly.
Yes.
And
yes. And yes.
We cannot, apart from God, we cannot operate and walk in and fulfill our designed purpose. We cannot.
Mic drop. That's a mic drop right there. Oh my goodness.
I mean, that's it. That was the biggest takeaway for me is, living by design. And, I talk about that in our thought worlds, but like it's no different. You can take this in multiple layers, being physically fit, being mentally fit with your thought world, and being spiritually fit.
Mm,
All of those things are your optimal design.
yes.
So
That's a word. That's a word right there. I love it.
I love you, Erin. Thanks for doing this.
Oh, absolutely. So, hey, if you've got comments, whatever, we want to know, like, how does this
Yeah.
sit with you? And, maybe Sherry will post a comment of her favorite documentary about ants, but join
I'll
us.
put a link to it.
I know. We'll include a link down there. Join us Fridays at 2:00 for more of the proverbial masterminds. We're just two daughters of the king, minding the master's wisdom.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.